Building together, block by block. Those words from Mayor Brandon Scott during his State of the City address where he laid out his vision to build a better Baltimore. Hi, everyone, I'm Jason Newton. Welcome to 11 TV Hill. Part of the plan to ensure Baltimore remains a top destination is addressing vacant homes, investing in the youth, and of course, tackling crime. And with that, we're getting a look at the latest crime numbers as well. Joining us now is Mayor of Baltimore City, Brandon Scott. Thanks for coming by, man.
Good to see you, sir.
This is a monthly visit, and you always honor Tim Tootin. So what school are you representing today?
This is the great folks at Wildwood Elementary over in Emerson Village. So they gave me this jacket. So this is my school for the month, Wildwood Elementary. Now, you will notice a trend here.
Okay.
A lot of schools have changed in the depth, updated their colors. There's going to be a lot of blue and gold.
I noticed the colors.
And I did not tell them to do it.
I noticed the colors.
Okay.
We're going to move away from that now.
Just go.
We'll stick with kids, though. Let's talk about youth engagement. We're getting to the summer months now. Listen, we've had some ups and downs. Just saw a 10-year-old involved in something. Right now, how are you hoping that we get into the summer on the right foot and make our way through it?
Well, we know we will. We're going to keep up our youth summer engagement strategy that we've had since 2023. And I want to thank folks to understand that. As a result of the engagement, youth as victims of non-fatal shootings fell by 57%. Youth as victims of assault fell by 40%. And even youth homicide has dropped off a cliff. We're going to do that by making sure that we have all the things for our young people to do. We have 1,400 attendees of our teen parties and pool parties and things like that. Obviously, Rec and Parks has summer camps all over the place. We're going to continue to have that investment. We're going to have our organizations that are going to be out there doing the youth engagement. We're going to do all that we can. But again, like I said the last time, we also need the community and parents in particular to step up. We're going to keep making that deep investment into our young people. We just opened a new rec center a couple of weeks ago in East Baltimore. This week, we're opening one in West Baltimore, and we have 4 more that we're going to open throughout the remainder of the year. We are going to invest heavily into our young people through this complete engagement strategy that we have to keep those numbers going down and keep helping our young people grow into a better version of themselves and letting them know when they do things the wrong way, we will hold them accountable as well. Everybody's
involved. I mean, like you said, you're coming off the porch, the neighbors and everyone. And that's key, I think, as we look at some of these homicide numbers fall, is that there's buy-in somewhere where this is working.
Well, listen, one of my good sisters from Safe Street says we have created a change in the culture. Okay. And when you think about, still for us, we had a historic year last year. This past month, April, is the fewest amount of homicides recorded in any month on record, short of only one other month. April of the previous year. So we're talking about historic reduction, and it comes from this comprehensive approach that we have. All the investments that we have in CVI, getting downstream, preventing things, interceding in violence, basic conflict that could be violence through Safe Streets, through We Are Us, through Uncle T and his folks, through everybody, the hospital-based responders and the work that they do. That's a part of it. It's the focus of our police department, focusing on the few people that are committing those acts of violence, removing them when they don't take us up on the chances to do different things with their life, focusing on the amount of guns and getting the guns and the gun offenders and gun traffickers and even going after gun stores and gun companies. And then the prosecution that comes from the great work in cases that the police are doing now, because we have them focus on who they should be focused on, allowing them to make better case product for the state's attorney, for the U.S. attorney, for our attorney general, and they are prosecuting and doing their job a fabulous way. It's the entirety of that focus. It's not one thing. We've created a system, right? A comprehensive violence prevention plan that has a system, an ecosystem of law enforcement, of prosecution, of community violence intervention. All of it together has helped us. But still, for me, 4 in a month is 4 too many. I want to get to the days where we have 0 a month. We acknowledge this historic progress, Jason, but say we have a lot longer to go.
Let's stick with the kids for a second. How do we clean up Sidestep? They had an issue with some invoices and thousands of dollars involved. I know your office is going to take a good look at them. How do you get them to the point where they're doing the work they need to be done?
Well, I guess a couple things, Jason. Sidestep doesn't exist anymore, right? We just make sure we're very clear about that. Sidestep was a pilot program. That pilot program does not exist. And even before the Inspector General's report, there was already an audit going on and looking at that with Monsi, and that will use that information and even things that we got from her to make sure that there's improvement. But I want to remind folks that Monsi didn't do anything wrong. What is alleged here is that one of the organizations did something wrong to them, and we're going to keep those practices in place and update them to make sure that we can prevent that.
Tell me about Spain as well. This is pretty big for the city. Beyond showcase in Europe, 700 other mayors were there. For us, it was vacants, block by block approach, bringing people back into the city.
Yeah, listen, coming back from Bloomberg City Lab is the conference when you talk to mayors, right? That's the biggest stages you really will get on when you talk about Bloomberg bringing mayors, not just from the U.S., but from all over the world, from Africa, from Europe, from South America, and for me and the city to have a front stage talk about our work in reducing vacancies, how we've taken it from 16,000 to 11,800 and something, and talking about our comprehensive block by block strategy, working with the community, working with the state, working with the philanthropic and private community. It's really a great thing for us to showcase the city of Baltimore in a different light. The stories that are now being told about Baltimore and how we operate are totally different across the world than what they were before, because we are moving in the right direction on so many of the things that have held us back as a city.
I'll get you to do the impossible in 30 seconds. The governor is at Rogers Station. I grew up across the street from it. That is a huge parking lot. To put something on there, that development helps that area, Northwest Baltimore, you think?
Helps it great. I got on that train there every day for 2 years, right? I understand my parents still live right there. And when you're thinking about unlocking that potential of that parking lot that you and I learned how to drive on,
I was
and
there.
That's pretty much what it's used for. That TOD type of development there, much like the one at Cold Spring, much like what come at Reisterstown, can really unlock potential in that neighborhood, allowing people to live and get where they want to go and work and have a much more vibrant neighborhood.
Fell asleep on the 44 many a day, leaving Roland Park Middle School. Thanks for coming by, sir.
Anytime.
Good to see you.